You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, July 16th show, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events in our local economy and how it can affect your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or go online at themoneyhour.com to discuss anything regarding money with the guests that I have in studio or myself. Right now, first time that I've had in studio, Jennifer Malocha with Wuhoo Coaching, and very excited, Jennifer, for our conversation. Sometimes I bring a little bit different twist in the show. The show is called The Money Hour because it's about everything regarding your money and experts that you need to have a good financial plan and a safe space for your family. And we're going to be talking about health and your mind, and that's really, really important if you want to have a successful financial life as well. Isn't that right, Jennifer?
Absolutely.
A little background about Jennifer. Jennifer is a nationally quoted certified horse-assisted life coach, author, Reiki and Shamanic Healer, inspirational storyteller, and founder of Wuhoo Coaching. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited and excited for my listeners to hear my conversation with you. Jennifer is on a mission to enable individuals dealing with grief, trauma, and navigate relationships to heal by empowering them to redefine their stories. Her high-impact healing retreats and workshops have empowered hundreds of women and men across the nation to authentically release deep trauma, establish healthy boundaries without anger, no anger, create more life balance, and to live the life that they love. Her ultimate vision is to use her gifts and experiences to spread world peace among humanity and global scale. So excited again, Jennifer, to have you here in studio with me. And to start out, why are you an expert in healing from abuse, trauma, and post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD?
Wow.
It is wow.
It is wow. Actually, it is really, really wow. I come from a place of experiencing profound trauma throughout my entire life.
Okay.
And the different healing processes that I've experienced to deal with the various traumas I've experienced, including post-traumatic stress disorder. I had a traumatic brain injury a few years ago, and my husband of 25 years left me on my 50th birthday after 25 years of marriage and 27-year relationship. And that was on kind of the final straw, we'll say, that broke the camel's back to a certain degree. And I've used all of my healing tools that I've gained over the years to deal with other various traumas to be able to transition from a history of trauma to redefine my story and celebrate living authentically the story of triumph that I get to live right now. I live the most incredibly peaceful, love-filled life ever, and I'm happy and joyful. And that's why I do the work I do to help others who've experienced trauma such as myself so that they can unhook from their history of trauma, which trauma will define us to a certain degree and make us who we are and all of that. However, it's when our history of trauma, we identify so tightly with it that we really can't live a happy, joy-filled life because we don't feel like we deserve it.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer, Jennifer, in learning to fail as one of my personal core practices. And really, the harder the challenges that we go through, the bigger difference that we're going to be able to make and to help someone else. So I love that. So how can you detach who you are from your trauma stories?
Wow, that is. When we experience anything in life, positive, negative, it starts cellularly in our body. And when we have a trauma, when we experience a trauma, it is stored cellularly. And the work that I do is all based in Gestalt psychology, where we experience the emotion we never have to relive the trauma again, but we do need to experience the emotion so that we can release it fully from our bodies. And I'm a very strong advocate that God blessed us with tears to wash away the pain.
Yeah.
And so
I like that.
It's in order to really be free, we have
You've got to release that.
We have to release
Yes.
that. And that's when, and it's been really interesting when I was able to finally disconnect my history of trauma with my story of who I am. I was lost. Well, if I'm not my trauma, who am I?
Sure.
And so the steps that I've taken to figure out who I am. And I looked for a certain amount of time. I actually looked outside of myself. Well, how do you see me? How do you experience me? And so when I work with clients, I'm able to help them create, not only unhook, but give them the framework to thrive in creating the story that they want to be living of a life they are madly in love with.
Makes sense. So Jennifer, how can you break the cycle of unhealthy relationships? Because unhealthy relationships can bring in, devastation to a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. So we are attracted to what we're used to. So if we had unhealthy relationships modeled for us, if we've experienced living in an unhealthy relationship, then that's what we're going to gravitate towards, even if we don't want it, because it's familiar to us. And so it's really about identifying those behaviors. And then if you think of ourselves as, I'm going to use the computer analogy.
Okay.
So we have operating systems that are humming along in the background. Many times we don't even know what that operating system is, but those are stories, those that limit us, that prevent us from experiencing the financial wealth or the relationship health or whatever. And it's when we're able to identify, oh, that's the operating system that's no longer serving me. It did serve a purpose at one time, but then we're able to identify what that operating system is, uninstall it, and reinstall a new one, a healthy one that allows us to make choices to have a healthy relationship. And the healthy relationships, quite often, they're uncomfortable because they're unfamiliar. Yes.
Yeah. You're going with the familiarity, which in this case is not the right space.
And they might also look different.
Yes.
But even the person or relationship might look different. When you unfold everything, it can still be the same relationship. It's looking for the patterns of similarities.
Got it. So let's talk about, and I'm excited to go out to the ranch, spend some time with you at one of your workshops, which is coming up. So let's talk about, how you work with, and you say partner, you're partnering with the horses to help in the healing process. Share with my listeners.
So in a very, very, very real sense, they are my healing partners, and they make me look really good. I got to say, from a history of trauma, when we've experienced trauma, we become the prey. Right? We have been preyed upon by someone, of course. Right? Yep. Horses are prey animals. So they are able to, and how they have survived all this time is through being able to read energy and intent. And to a certain degree, body language as well. But really, they tap into what we believe about ourselves and who we really are inside, not the facade that we show the world. They are living, breathing, walking BS meters, which I love. And we are all spiritual beings walking around in little human suits, having a human experience, right? But so many of us, because of our trauma, we are in our head. And everything is all about, thinking. We don't want to necessarily tap into all of our knowledge that's stored within ourselves because it's painful.
Yes.
Right? But it's when we are able to connect our heart and mind, we have a direct connection to God, our source. And the horses help us create that environment of safety,
Got it.
And when you have not been called out until you've been called out by a 1,200-pound mute.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly. And when we drop into our hearts, they're, tell me more. They are fascinated. They just come right to you. And when we are up in our head, they walk away, say, that grass over there looks so much more interesting than what you have going on.
So how the horses are reacting to you is an indicator of what's going on inside.
Absolutely.
Just amazing.
Absolutely.
So redefining your story and living a balanced life, how do you help people there?
What I help them do is I help them redefine their story by helping them understand what a healthy boundary is.
Okay.
And how it's okay to have a healthy boundary and have no anger involved.
Yes.
Most people especially women, they can't have a boundary unless they get angry and they feel taken advantage and walked over, things like that. So when we have a healthy boundary and are able to enforce it without anger, it actually helps all of us relax and get along better. And we are able to then become leaders of our own life and the leaders that we need to be to successfully live a life we love, filled with peace and joy.
Yeah. And you do. You need to be a leader for yourself in order to then be able to expand and be a leader and be better for other people. I've got to wrap up the show here, but I want to ask about Red Velvet Rope policy. What is that?
Yeah, the Red Velvet Rope policy is being able to decide, yes, you get to go in. No, you do not get to go in. And that comes back to having healthy boundaries and being a leader and knowing what it is I want, what is best for me, and not being afraid, standing in my bravery, my authenticity and saying yes to me. And just only allowing the highest quality, most fabulous people into my life. That's the Red Velvet Rope policy. And I help clients learn how to do that as well.
That is so awesome. Do a call to action. How do my listeners get in contact to join me? Because I'm going to be there at your next retreat that you're going to have.
I have a Redefining Your Story intro event that I offer once a month.
Okay.
And for July, it is Friday, July 22nd from 2 to 4. People do have to reserve a spot because there are limited spaces available.
Okay.
If you contact Jennifer at woohoocoaching.com, that's JENNIFER at WUHOOCOACHING.com. They can send me an email and I will reserve a spot for them. And I do have one coming up in August and another in September.
Okay. If you missed that, just call the show 1-855-400-1150. 1-855-400-1150. I'll get you connected. And if you just got a couple spots for July, I'm going to be there if you want to meet me too. So connect with me. I'll connect you with Jennifer. That's it. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Really appreciate it. And just thank you. And this is your host. I'm signing off. Tina Mitchell right here on 1150 AM KKNW. I will be here next weekend, same time, same place. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks.